big yellow battle lanterns, you know, the big yellow boxy battle lanterns. You remember those?
I do.
And he beat that dude within an inch of his life. And then he went back to his rack. Yeah. Nice. Assault on an officer. Also, it like put a nuclear reactor, nuclear warship, all that in danger. He got the book thrown at him, and he went to Leavenworth for 3 years. And when I transferred across country from Seattle to Georgia, I stopped by there, and you know, they let me like arrange a visit, everything. It was kind of cool. I always wanted to go to Leavenworth without having to go to Leavenworth. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because it is, I mean, it's pretty ominous looking place. I mean,
I think there's 3 prisons on it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there were that many.
They have the U.S. Disciplinary Barracks, which is actually on post. And then they have the actual Fort Leavenworth Federal Prison that's right outside the gate.
That's where I went to, the federal. Yeah.
And then they have the old disciplinary barracks on, you know, on the post as well. It's you can tour it now, which is cool, but you can't go and actually see the new one, the disciplinary barracks. I tried to get in because I wanted to go and like spit on Adel Hassan, but yeah, they won't let me in there to do that.
You know, that guy, it's sad that guy's still alive. I think with him being in a wheelchair and paralyzed from the neck down, they should probably just do like the Comanche Indians and just roll them out in the desert and just lay them down and let nature take like recoup him. For those of you that don't know, that was the Army major at Fort Hood, Texas. He was a psychiatrist, and he was obviously a double agent for what he did, in my opinion. You know, took a lot of people's lives that should still be here, and now he's you know, he's paralyzed from the neck down.
He's getting force fed just to stay alive because he's on a hunger strike. So they go in there every day and force feed him to keep him alive. It's like, why?
What a scumbag. What a scumbag. What a scumbag. Larry, I was talking just a few minutes ago. I've got a bunch of veterans that live north of me, just like 30 minutes north of me. It's Rogers, Arkansas, where the tornado went through. Did you have any tornado damage where you were at?
No, just high winds.
High winds.
Just high winds.
Yeah.
Down in Oklahoma, they had a few. So, you know, all my family actually moved out of Oklahoma and went up to Washington State. So that's good news. But we still follow it because my wife's family is down in the Oklahoma City area.
Okay.
So you know, it's been really active the last 2 weeks, and it's really weird to see, like, watching freaking the news up here in Kansas, to watch Oklahoma City news, and then we all get it and we get super involved in it, like, oh my god, we know exactly where that is.
Yeah, that is
when you
weird,
reminisce that way.
Yeah. I always still kind of keep in touch with a little bit of the news where I've lived at before, just a smidge, you know, just enough to, like, you know. Now Memorial Day, I was just talking Memorial Day, like I've got like 9 friends that aren't here because of, hey, look at that veteran biker coffee mug. That's beautiful. Beautiful coffee mug. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, Memorial Day for me is kind of a day I keep my distance from people, you know? And a lot of people I've heard say like, Happy Memorial Day. And I'm like, no offense.
Calm down.
No offense, but Memorial Day is for those that aren't here. Veterans Day is for those that are here that served, you know, Labor Days for everybody that worked, that kind of thing. And I don't really get bent out of shape because I just don't think people understand, right? I don't think, and the coin, you know, the coins on the headstones, you know that, and a lot of people don't.
I do.
You want to talk about that, Larry? I'm sure you're well.
I don't know. I don't remember the whole thing about it, but I think if you leave a penny, it's because you actually visited the grave. Like a nickel, you served with them. A dime, you did something else. And like a quarter, if you leave a quarters, you were actually there when they died.
That's right. Yeah. A penny is just acknowledging a veteran, acknowledging those who served. A nickel is you went to boot camp together. You served in boot camp together. A dime means you served together in the fleet or, you know, outside of boot camp. And then the quarter is like you said, you were there whenever the service member passed away. I only know of 3 people I could put quarters on, you know, which is not good. Nobody wants to be a part of that. But I went to we've got a national cemetery here in Fayetteville. I went there yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday. Yeah, today's Monday. I went there Sunday. I went there Sunday evening by myself, you know, just kind of do my own thing, you know, do my own acknowledgement. Now, the National Cemetery here, we have the grave of the guy that founded the VFW.
How cool is that?
It is kind of cool. It is kind of cool.
That's cool.
I came out with a video today talking about the VFW and how VFW membership is nosedive because we had 4 years of no war, and you know,
Biden will restock.
Yeah, and Biden's got to get the numbers back up, right? I'm a member of the VFW. I'm a member of the American Legion. I'm a member of all those, you know, organizations. I think each one of them does a little bit of their own good work, you know.
Correct.
I used to be a member of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Club. I say used to.
I did too. I used to be as well. I'm not anymore.
I am not anymore. I know we might have some Combat Vet Motorcycle Club members in the chat. That's okay. We're allowed to have differing opinions. The motorcycle club that I thought I was getting into wasn't what it turned out to be. It turned out to be like a drinking club. Exactly. And a lot of those guys really held on to their rank. And
yes.
Did you find the same thing? What did you notice with it?
So when I got there, it was they wanted to go and like go to different places, but they didn't want to claim territory, but they had to go to certain restaurants or certain bars, and they always wanted to go out every week. I'm not a drinker, so you know, I would never go because I'm like, hey, you know, I don't drink at all.
Yeah.
And I've never been a drinker. I've just never liked it anyway.
Yeah.
But they're like, you never come to anything. And I'm like, dude, because you're going out to places to drink. Oh, you can come and eat. And I'm like, I have a certain time of day I eat, you know, I have stomach issues, et cetera, thanks Army.
Yeah.
So, you know, they were like, you never come to anything. And then seriously, they had a commander, they have an XO, they have S1, and they have all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, I retired
to get away from that shit.
I'm Lawrence now. It's like, dude, seriously, I don't need all of this. And they're like, oh, come on. You can just come out for a ride. So I went out for a ride. That was cool. And then it was just, it's constant. Hey, you need to be here. You need to do this. Swipe your card, come to vote. And I'm like, yo, dude, I like living. I like riding my motorcycle, and I want to do it on my own time. And I don't want to be like held to anybody else doing it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, listen, I watched a documentary on like Hell's Angels and stuff like that. Just like thinking, you know, let's compare. You know, it's a horrible thing to compare the Hell's Angels to the CVMA. But I was like,
yes.
I was like, holy crap, that's what they have to go through. And then they sign their bike over to the club and everything else. And it's like, oh, I was like, no thanks, dude. I took the patch off the back of my freaking vest, and you know, now I ride with the gigantic American Eagle on the back of my vest, even though it still says, you know, vets helping vets, and I still have all my CVMA patches on. I just don't have the big patch on the back.
It just became like when I noticed the whole like idea of rank and stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm done with that. You know, I'm beyond that. And the guys that were the most concerned with it were like, did their 4 years and got out, which, you know, salute to them. You served your country, you left on your terms, salute to them. But I really didn't, you know, I didn't need it. I thought for a while I did, and then I realized I didn't. And I really love like going riding by myself more than anything. Kind of just
I do too.
Me and the person I love the most on the back, and we kind of go and do our own thing. And it's great. You know, I enjoy that. I want to ask a question in the chat here. How many vets do we have in the chat? And if you're a veteran in the chat, leave your branch of service. You can put your name, rank, social security. Don't put your social. Put your name, rank, whatever, you know, what you
name
did.
Your firstborn.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Bill Bailey. I'm a vet. Falklands. 82. Wow. Bill. Good day, mate. I'm sure he's British. That's probably a horrible Australian accent, but whatever. Bill Bailey, you were under Maggie Thatcher. I mean, that was a real war. I mean, the Argentinians and the Brits were going after it. Bill Bailey, salute to you, brother. Man, that's awesome. Yeah. Somebody said salute Bill. Absolutely. Uh-oh, here we go. James Garman, 26-year Navy retired lieutenant commander, Mustang. Salute. Attention on deck, right?
I'm talking about. Mustang officers are the best officers.
Oh, he's
I say that from experience.
Exactly. Yeah. You're a little biased, just a smidge.
Just a little biased.
But yeah, if you guys are veterans, hold up. This is one that caught my eye. Turd Chaser, 1980 to 2003, Hooks RC. Hooks, Turd Chaser. Yeah, Holtec.
Okay.
Holtec, Turd Chasers. I love it. I got a good story about a Holtec from just a couple of days ago, and I got the text messages to back it up. Brother Kerry E. Jackson, Army Sergeant E5, Vietnam, DMZ. Kenneth W. Jackson, Navy, Vietnam, Bay of Tonkin, both gone. Salute, rest in peace till Valhalla. Anybody that's got a super chat that they want, that they have a family member, a veteran that they want their name read aloud, all the money from tonight's super chats and memberships. There's a place just north of me that just got hit by a tornado in Rogers, Arkansas. And there's a couple of veterans that live up there. I'm going to use the money from the super chats to help them out with some groceries, maybe help them out. I know both of them have service dogs, maybe even take them some food for their dogs and stuff like that. So that's where all the super chats are going. If you've got a veteran family member that you want read out loud and give a big shout to them through the airwaves, feel free. The other thing that we're going to do for anybody that joins the channel as a member, I'm getting something set up over the next couple of days so people can call in to the show. And then also we're going to do 2 monthly live streams where we do a random, like pull some members out of the channel and join up on the live stream and talk about whatever they want. So there you go. Yeah, I think it's cool, man. We're getting a lot more engagement from the community. What did you think about that video today, Larry? What do you think about and I know maybe because your position with work, you have to mince words with what you do as a whole, just as a whole. What does the veteran community think of the current commander-in-chief, just in your humble opinion?
They're not too confident on him. And I wanted to talk when I listened to your video. One of the biggest things you said, everybody's worried about recruitment and going to war. That actually ranks number 2 on what most recruits say, or what most people that have a propensity to serve say is on their I don't want to join list, right?
Really?
So, yeah, going to war is number 2. The number 1 thing is the weirdest thing you've ever heard is they don't want to put their life on hold to actually join the military and do something else. Yeah, that comes in number 1. I just had this last week, I was at a RU workshop. The recruiting operations officer is what it is, RU.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the workshop up in Iowa for a whole week doing that. And
just real quick, give them like a elevator pitch of what you do, because some people have seen you on here before, some people might not. What is it that you do, Larry?
I'm the recruiting operations officer. I'm the recruiter for the Army ROTC at the University of Kansas.
Okay. So if you've got a kid and you want to get rid of them, send them to Larry.
There you go. I offer scholarships and all that other good stuff. I help kids pay for college and then give them a career after they graduate. So a good career that pays well. So yeah.
Yep.
But I'm putting their life on hold is the number 1 reason that they don't want to do it. And then you try to explain to kids, you're not putting your life on hold. You're getting the leadership experience you want. They're like, but I want to travel. And you're like, dude, you can travel in the military, get stationed in Germany, and then boom, you're freaking all over Europe. You can go to Russia, et cetera, wherever you want to go. You go to Japan, you can fly wherever you want. And then it's a fear of losing their life or going to war. And then it's the obesity thing. And then it's medications. So those are the top 4 reasons why. Yep.
Obesity. Are kids that out of shape as a whole?
They are.
Wow.
So get this, to qualify to keep a scholarship through the Army ROTC, you have to do what they call an Army Combat Fitness Test. Six exercises that you have to do: the deadlift, the plank, and all these other things, right?
Yeah.
So it's super hard to do if you've never done it before. But to actually attract people in and get people to apply for scholarships now, they do the presidential fitness assessment to get people in. So all they have to do is a minute of push-ups, a minute of sit-ups, and a mile run.
Wow.
So
Okay.
they dumbed it all the way down to actually get kids in high school that, what do they do during school? They maybe run a mile. That's all my
Mhm.
kids have told me. Oh, we're in gym. We're gonna run a mile. I'm like, that's it. And then yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy.
Now, I mean, you said number one was putting their life on hold,
Yep.
and then the medication and the obesity. That blows my mind. That blows my
Going to
mind.
war and losing their life is number 2.
Wow. Here we
And
go. Here we go. Guyman was on the chat the other night. How much interest is Lawrence seeing in the free plumbing change, courtesy of today's DEI military? Guyman is such a salty Air Force fighter pilot.
oh man, free plumbing change, huh? I like it.
You gotta change the drain. You put in a French drain. That's crazy. I mean, I think, I'm seeing a lot of guys on my end. You're putting people into that side. I'm seeing a lot of young people get out through their own means. I was seeing a lot of people get out during the Wuhan death breath when they refused to get the Fauci ouchie, and they got RE3s.
They did.
And they lost all benefits. They lost education. They lost everything. Real quick.
They can't re-enlist.
They can't go back in. No. Mary Reaper, 1999. Thank you for the super chat, Mary. In memory of 2 of my battle buddies, they lost their life in Afghanistan. Mary's a vet. Salute to you, Mary. Looks like Army in that photo there. Let's see. In Afghanistan, 2010, Sergeant David Holmes, Sergeant First Class Edgar Roberts. Rest in peace until Valhalla. Sergeant David Holmes and Sergeant First Class Edgar Roberts. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And that's going to go to help some vets that are still with us, okay? And some vets that we're going to try to keep with us. That's the most important thing. And I think, personally, my service dog saved me from myself. What was we talking about? What were we talking about?
We're talking about RE codes.
RE codes, yeah. They're not eligible for education benefits. They're not eligible GI Bill. They're not eligible for the VA home loan guarantee. They're not eligible for VA medical care. I mean, they lost everything.
Yep.
And I want to say it was the tune of about 4,700 just Navy people. I don't know how many in the Army or the other branches of service.
I don't know.
But these are young guys, and they're like, I want to file for VA benefits. And I see their DD 214. I see their discharge or the code, the RE code. They usually only bring the first page. They never bring page 2. And I'm like, hey, I got to see page 1. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I need to see that. What was the RE3 for? Soon as they bring that, I'm like, I wish you the best. I wish you the best of luck. You know,
I get a lot of those asking if they can come in and be an officer. Like, hey, I have an RE3 code. And I'm like, all right, let's look at it and see what it is. Is it waiverable or not? And this guy was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be super waiverable. No.
Wow. Here we go. Exhibit True says Roland P. Sherman, Vietnam, drafted Army, 68 to 71. Exhibit Truth. Rest in peace, Roland P. Sherman. Thank you very much.
Really, man, Army draftee.
Army draftee. I tell you what, I had a guy come in the other day. He's a Marine veteran. Mm-hmm. I've had 2 I've had very fortunate opportunity, honor to help some World War II veterans. One of the World War II veterans I helped last year, he passed away. He was 101.
Wow.
5 Purple Hearts. 5 Purple Hearts. He had 3 Bronze Stars. He was in North Africa with Patton.
Nice.
Then he was in Italy. I want to say Anzio. And I don't know who was leading that charge, but he parachuted into Italy, right? Mm-hmm. His parachute gets caught up in a tree and he's hanging in the tree. Germans are walking underneath him in the tree. He waits for them to pass. He cuts his parachute, falls down. I want to say he hurt his ankle, broke his ankle, whatever. And
his legs.
Yeah. And I mean, he was there. And after the military, he came back to Arkansas. He was a dentist for like 50 years. I had the opportunity to help this guy. It was amazing.
Awesome.
It's freaking amazing. Freaking amazing. I had a guy came in just the other day. He is a retired Marine colonel, full bird. I'm not going to use his name, but he's on the Silver Star Registry. And actually, I'll say his name. Well, no, I won't. I won't say his name. Anyway, Silver Star winner. He was a corporal in Vietnam. He was a Marine radio operator, forward controller, I think is what they actually called it. They had unalived 237 Vietnamese. They captured 40. This other batch of Vietnamese starts attacking him. He runs across this open field of fire, gets shot 4 times.
Holy cow.
Makes it to the radio that they had been forced away from or whatever. Calls in an airstrike where he needed to call it in. Grabs that radio, goes back, and starts helping people. And you know it got submitted as a Medal of Honor, and it got downgraded to a Silver Star because he was a corporal. But he stuck around. He retired as a full bird Marine colonel. And I'm helping him right now with some VA disability stuff. And he's the most humble guy you would ever meet. The most humble guy I would ever meet. You know, it's just amazing. And the guys that are like that are so like humble, those are the ones that I'm like, yeah, this guy, he gets it. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I'm sure you see the same thing. You probably see the same thing. What are some interesting people that have you put some really good, amazing, interesting candidates into the military?
I had a 2 last year, I think it was. I had a brand new second lieutenant. He came from Sri Lanka.
Wow.
And his parents immigrated. He was Sri Lanka, and super motivated. I mean, the kid decided he wanted to do. He did ROTC for a year. Decided it wasn't enough of a challenge for him, so he quit, and he joined the Kansas National Guard. During the time in the Kansas National Guard, he went to Ranger School. He did all sorts of stuff, right? Got all the chesticles he could to put on his uniform.
I like that, chesticles. I like that.
Yeah, put all the chesticles on his uniform. Came back into the program, super high speed. While he was doing ROTC, ROTC is pretty hard. You're going to actually extra hours and everything else.
Sure.
Dude ran 2 businesses while he did it. Yeah, and graduated as a distinguished military graduate, and is now out in Colorado doing great things for the Army.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yep.
Let's see here. Tom Fox, $5 super chat. Remembering my hero and dad. Tom, salute to you, brother. Master Sergeant Archie Fox, combat medic, World War II and Korea.
Seeing some stuff.
Wow. Tom, Tom, I bet you and your dad's I bet your dad didn't tell you as many stories as he could have. And that's probably good. I don't talk about
probably really quiet. I don't talk about combat at all.
The other amazing.
I try not to.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. No, I talk about the bars and the midgets and pooping on faces and stuff like that. That's more fun, right? That's more fun.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about the one story I will tell is because my friend Guyman's in the chat and him flying some warheads on foreheads in there. And, it's a small world that my girlfriend would have grown up with him. Guyman's younger than she is, but Guyman moves back to Arkansas from Las Vegas, where he was working Air Force out there. And she's like, hey, I got a friend of the family. He needs a friend. I was like, huh? She's like, hey, he's a veteran. I was like, okay. She's like, like vets, y'all can talk to each other. I was like, that's like code for like, we don't understand you. Find somebody else that does.
Right.
And me and Guyman just became best friends. I mean, it was literally like best friends. And then we started putting together, hey, I was here. Hey, I was there. And sure enough, we started comparing some real notes, and he had flown a warhead on a forehead. Let's see. Nice. Lalani Mitchell. My one regret in life is not enlisting in the Army when I had the chance. Lalani, salute to you.
How old are you now?
Yeah, Lalani, how old are you now?
You don't have to answer that. Don't answer that.
Lawrence will put you in. Lawrence will put you in. Bill Bailey, Neil DeWitt. I'm a different Bill, born and bred in England, served in the 80 onwards. Bill Bailey, what part of England? Lawrence and I were both in the UK. We're very familiar with that part of the country. And I would kill for some London Pride right now. That was my favorite beer. Man, that was my favorite beer.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
So you and Guyman are friends, right?
Yeah.
You met him and all everything. I have a similar story like that.
Okay, sure.
Completely different services. So
okay.
Navy, I was on the USS Bellawood going out doing the West Packs. And one of our trips, 98, we went to Operation Desert Fox alongside the USS Thatch, blew some tomahawks into Iraq, did some really cool stuff. Had the 31st MEU with us, the Marine Expeditionary Unit.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't know what a MEU is. We landed them in Kuwait and did everything else, right? Move ahead about 10 years. No. About 13 years. I take command of an Army unit in Oklahoma. And I have this first sergeant come up to me. He's my brand new first sergeant. He goes, "Sir, you look extremely familiar." And I'm like, "I do?" He was like, "Yeah, I don't know where to put you." And I was like, "All right." And he goes, "Were you ever in the Navy?" I was like, "Yeah, I was in the Navy." He goes, "Were you on the Bellawood?" I was like, "I was." "How do you know that?" He goes, "You used to be the boatswain of the watch and play your pipe, and you used to go up and down, it's like transverse the corridors and everything else, the passageways and everything." I was like, "Yeah, I did that a whole lot." He goes, "I was one of the Marines that was on the ship that deployed to Operation Desert Fox with you. And we would always make fun of you personally because you'd walk through the Marine barracks in your coveralls with your bosun's lanyard on. And we were always like, 'What the hell is that around your neck?' And so finally someone asked him and everything else. But my first sergeant was a Marine when we did Operation Desert Fox in 98. And I was like, holy crap, that's a small ass world.
Dude, that's awesome. That is awesome.
And the only reason why he remembered me is, the way I looked in freaking bosun's pipe.
Yeah.
So I was like, nice.
I mean, it is a small world. I was at the VA, not such as a good story. It's kind of a good story, but I don't know. It was funny, more funny. So the VA hospital, I'm walking through the VA hospital. I was over there like getting blood or something like that. And I'm walking by, and this guy, as I'm walking by, he just kind of like eyeballed me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like eyeballed you. And I just keep walking. I'm like, whatever. And I had my little lanyard on with my badge, and it says like retired Navy. Next thing you know, I hear somebody like, they're like, "Hey, excuse me." I was like, "Huh?" Like, "Excuse me." I was like, I turn around, I'm like, "What? Like, did I forget to like pee in the cup or something?" He's like, "Hey, were you on the USS Nebraska?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you remember me?" I was like, "No." He's like, I was a cook on there. I was like, "Oh, okay." So we start talking. He's like, "Yeah, I got kicked out." I was like, "Oh, I remember this guy." It's like one of the guys that got kicked out.
Nice.
Now, what he did, it was kind of funny. He was American Indian and brought back some, actually, I don't think he was a cook. Anyway, he brought back some peyote. Had a little incident on base. I'll just leave it at that. Had a little incident on base with some peyote. And it didn't end well for his career. It didn't end well at all for his career. But, one of the other amazing veterans that I still get to hang out with, there's a Vietnam or World War II veteran. His name is Fred. He just turned 100 in November.
Is Fred named after him?
No, I had Fred before I met Fred. But he was an Air Force vet, Army Air Corps before it came Air Force. He was stationed in Britain, and he was a radio guy on those, what do they call them? B-29s? I don't know. Whatever, big bombers, right? They were flying missions into Germany, like 3 or 4 missions a day, flying into Berlin. Well, anyway, they had 2 crews on the plane. So one crew would go out, the other one would do like night raids or whatever. Well, anyway, him and his crew, they got a pass, like a 3-day pass. And they didn't want to go into London because London was getting shelled. So the pilot was like, "Well, we're not going to London. And everybody's like, well, what are we going to do? He's like, meet me out here tonight at like 10 o'clock out at the airfield. They stole a B-29, a Liberator, flew it to Scotland for 4 days and went drinking and then came back. And I'm like, but every time he tells the story, it like takes him back and he's almost like embarrassed. And I'm like, Fred, I've done some cool shit, but stealing a freaking warplane to go drinking is awesome. Like the most ultimate Navy story ever.
Yes.
But he's always like, he's like, yeah, we landed in this field and we covered the plane up with some bushes. and then the farmers just let us pull it into their barn. And we just went out drinking in Scotland for 4 days. And I was like, dude, that is amazing. He's like, yeah, when we got back, I think we were still drunk. I was like, that's even better, dude. That's even better. You know,
he flew the plane home drunk. I love it.
Yeah. But he's like a little embarrassed by it. You know, I mean, just the modesty. Getting back to what I'm seeing now, though, veterans that I'm seeing now, the younger generation of veterans that are getting out, they all know how the VA works before they ever get out. They knew how the VA disability claims. It's almost like they're prepping themselves while they're in. Are you seeing that, or do you know anything about that? What do you think about it?
Not really, because unless they're really talking to some senior enlisted dudes that are getting ready to retire, that are like giving them some mentorship.
Right.
I got all my mentorship about the VA disability through my dad. My dad was like, you need to do this. You need to do this. And then when I got out, I got involved with the vet center. And the vet center helped me out tremendously.
The vet center here is really good. We partner with them a lot. Teresa Helms, for my late husband, Dave Helms, SSGT. Is that Staff Sergeant? I don't know what that is. Okay. Staff Sergeant, U.S. Air Force, 13 years. And his father, retired Master Chief, Ed Earl Helms, U.S. Navy, RIP. Love and miss you both. Teresa, salute to you, and rest in peace to those guys until Valhalla. Staff Sergeant and a Master Chief. That is amazing. Good for you, Teresa. Teresa lives up in Montana, and she won the My Pillow book that was autographed by Mike Lindell, and I also sent her one of these inside of the cover, a little silver eagle there from Midas Gold. Larry, talk a little bit about, like, you were Navy first, then you were Army. You've been on the chat before. Everybody knows what you're doing right now. You just started a YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel about? What do you talk about on there?
My YouTube, well, I posted 3 videos. I'm just trying to get some content rolling so people can find me. Yeah. I did a video today on Memorial Day, and lo and behold, I worked on my editing skills, which is awesome. But my channel, Coffee and Camouflage, I just like what we're doing right now. I just want to sit down and talk to vets, get some stories out, get it recorded on YouTube so family and friends and everything can come back and, talk to you, because we do have a problem with veteran suicide and everything else. One of the biggest problems when I went through the military history course, that the military historians actually identify as a big problem, is since like right after the Gulf War, not everybody does journals or diaries very much anymore for veterans, as much as we used to. Mm-hmm. So I want to, it's one of those heritage things that I want to do. I just want to sit, talk. I don't want to, if you want to talk about combat, you can. If you don't want to talk about it, if you just want to sit down and have a chat and just talk, it's good. I just want to make sure there's a dialogue, especially, and then I want to help vets, sort of like what you do with your service dogs. They have war horses for veterans out here in Kansas. Get some people out there, have them work with the horses, but also, we got to combat this 22 a day. It's actually gone down to, I think it's about 17 a day now, which is good. There's some stuff that's going on, but just sit and talk. If people are like having problems, get it out. Like you said, I'm retired. I'm 100% disabled, so I get the VA disability. I'm a GS-11 in the Army, or Army Civilian Corps, so I don't need the money. All the super chats. Either. Once I get to the super chat mark of the 1,000 subscribers or whatever it is, and 3 videos or however, all those super chats are going to go help veterans. So if you guys ever have a time, look up Coffee and Camouflage and see this great looking face and backwards hat, because I have horrible hair. And
More importantly, if you're a veteran in the chat and you want to share your story, share your experiences, anything like that, check out Larry's channel, right? Check out Larry's channel, Coffee and Camouflage. And I will put you can look it up right there, Coffee and Camouflage.
Thanks,
find him and shoot him an email. And unless you're unless you have a face for radio like I do, you'll be fine. We both got faces for radio. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good. I find it very therapeutic sometimes, as sad as it is, to get on YouTube and do some live streams like this where I get to interact with all the people. Yeah. Nothing inspires me more when somebody named Veteran Tony says FJB. That inspires me. That inspires me, right? That inspires
the world.
It inspires the world, or we got Morris Foster yelling Semper Fi over here. Morris, I don't know what it looks like he's climbing on something. Morris, what are you climbing on in there? Right?
The rappelling?
I don't know anything about that.
Is that a lineman?
I don't know. Morris, I don't know what that is. Let's get to some of the comments in here. If you guys got questions, comments, concerns, or cuss words for an Army vet, Navy vet, whatever, let's check it out, right? Let's see here. If Larry needs a couple of crazy designs for merch, he can holler at Roddy Mom. Roddy Mom is awesome.
Roddy Mom, I actually have ideas. I have 2 ideas, and they're the super simple ideas. Have you ever seen the St. Jude shirt that says, this shirt saves lives?
Yep.
All I want to do is, put my logo, the Coffee and Camouflage logo on it. Just, this shirt supports vets. And then maybe a coffee cup that says, Coffee and Camouflage.
Let's do this. I'm going to pull up my spring store, because there is a discount code on there right now for exactly what we're talking about. Wait, where's that at? Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. Let's do, how do I do it? Wait. Okay. I don't know what I just did with everything. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Hold up. There we go. Okay. Larry, I don't know where you went, but anyway.
I'm still here.
You're still there. So there's the Veteran Biker Super Spring Store. Roddy Mom put some stuff on there. We got Merry 4th of the Father's Day. That's a big picture of Joe there, since he doesn't know what day it is with the ice cream. Merry 4th of Father's Day. A little play on Christmas, which is pretty amazing. And then we've got this one right here, the MAGA King, Trump.
Oh my God, look at those teeth.
He said he wanted gold teeth. And if you use discount code VETERAN, you get 10% off. And then this is one that I really like. Don't be a sheep, be a lion, right? That's the MAGA man right there. The MAGA man. And Roddy Mom has made some real cool stuff on the channel. Here's one of my favorites right here. Joe Biden for prison, right? He would have a great time there. And then this one, she made this one a few months ago, and it's very fitting for Memorial Day. I mean, very fitting. And you've got the headstone there, and the eagle, and the looks like an M4, and the dog tags, and all the different branches of service. And I just think it's amazing. And now I need to find out. Oh, there we go. Perfect. You're back. And there he's back in the room.
One day I'll figure out how to make a store.
It's simple. I'll help you out with it. But if you guys are wanting to buy any merch, I'll put the link in the chat. And all the money goes towards helping that. Like I said, I work full time. I'm retired. I'm a disabled vet. I don't really do YouTube to pay the bills. I really don't. If I can help other people, I went and bought a bunch of groceries on Saturday for a couple of vets that I know. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of helping other people is really selfish. You don't think of it like that, but it is, because you get all the feel good. I mean, yes, they need the help. They appreciate the help. They absolutely need it.
Yep.
But I think some of is it called dopamine or something like that?
It is. Yep.
You get that, and you get to see how much just, $100 worth of groceries, 3 or 4 bags of dog food means to that person. I've helped a couple of veterans pay for their vet bills, for their service dogs. And it means Bruce Wayne. We got Batman in the freaking house. Bruce Wayne. The feel good is addictive. Bruce.
Feel good is addictive.
We need
to say it like Batman.
Who was the best? Who's the best Batman? Who's the best?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
But Michael Keaton's the GOAT.
I like Michael Keaton too. Well,
yeah.
I hate to say it, I'm partial to Val Kilmer.
It's okay.
And the only reason is I had an opportunity to take Val Kilmer out on my boat diving. What? Yeah. I didn't know who he was. What? I had no idea who he was. So a friend of mine is a movie guy, like makes movies, producer, director, whatever. And I was down in Panama City. I was working at dive school down in Panama City. And he's like, "Hey, you still got your boat?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, let's go out. Let's go do some diving. I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Do you care if I bring a friend of mine along?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I don't care." Right. So this dude showed up with a beard bigger than yours. Like, what? Way bigger than yours. Way bigger. Like he looked like the singer from the Oak Ridge Boys, right? You know who I'm talking about?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. He looked like that guy, real short too. And my buddy Glenn was like, "Hey, blah, blah, blah." He just introduced this guy. And I didn't, it's out on the water. I don't care. And I was like, "Yeah, cool." Get him suited up, grab a tank. "Hey, have you ever dove before?" "Yeah, I do." I'm just like, stay shallow, right? Just stay shallow. Stay first atmosphere. So we're out diving. We come back to the boat and get to talking. And guy goes in his bag and he pulls out this like little bag of treats. And next thing you know, he's pouring out this line of booger sugar about that long on my boat. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And my buddy's like, "Don't worry about it." I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we get to talking, and sure enough, Val Kilmer had no idea.
That's awesome.
Had no idea.
And I've never had an experience like that.
Man, I've had some celebrity experiences that still like blow my mind. Another good one down in Panama City, a friend of mine named Mikey, he managed this bar that I used to drink at all the time. And the bar had closed. It's like after hours kind of thing. And we're like having some drinks there at the bar. And actually another guy with a beard showed up, right? We're at the bar. It's like 2:00 in the morning, about to close up. We're just playing some pool. Knock at the door. This big dude comes to the door. This big black, like bouncer guy. And he's like, "Hey, can we have some drinks?" And I was like, "We're closed." And he's like, pulls out this wad of cash. I was like, "Mikey, you talk to him." He was a bodyguard. In walks Dennis Rodman and Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. And they just wanted to play, play pool without anybody bothering them. So we wound up just letting them play pool. And we played a couple of games of pool with them. Hey, I'm going to switch over to this real quick. Let's, sure. I got something that's brewing here real quick. That I think is going to be interesting for us to talk about here. Let's see here. Right. Nope, that's not it. Where is it at? Aha. This is Tim Poole doing a live interview with Donald Trump.
This Tim Poole. I wonder if he's got his beanie on right now.
He's always got a beanie. You know that.
Let me interview the president of the United States with the beanie on. Let's go. Yeah. I'd probably have a beanie on too. My hair is horrible. Yeah, he does.
Thanks for sitting down. I really do appreciate it. So I know you don't have a lot of time, so I'll just
can you
jump right in.
Okay, good.
I can hear it.
We had a couple polls we went over on our show IRL. Young people, surprisingly, immigration is a top issue for them now. I was talking to a young guy, he's 26. He says he's watching what's going on in New York. He owns a business. He can't afford to buy his own house. He struggles to be able to support a family. And I know that you've said that there's going to be the largest deportation effort in your next term. How do we do it?
So millions and millions of people are coming into our country, and it's not necessarily exactly what we want or had in mind. They have open borders where people just flow in. And many of those people are coming from prisons. Many of those people, frankly, are murderers and they're drug dealers, and they're coming from mental institutions, and they're coming from places that are not going to work very well. It's not going to be very good for our country. So we're going to start with that, and we have to get them out. No country can sustain what we're going through. I believe the number is 15, 16 million, could even be 17 million people right now.
Is
that's more than that's bigger than almost all of our states.
I think it's freaking out young people. How do we do it though? I mean, is it going to be new personnel?
It will really be done with local police.
Why is that not going away?
The respect has been taken away. The honor has been taken away from our police forces. They're not allowed to do anything. And whether it's libertarian or not libertarian, people have to have law and order. You can't have 500 people walking into a department store and just walking out with everything they have.
California.
And we have to give honor and respect back. And I believe immunity, because, so often when a police person does their job, they end up with no pension. They end up with no house. They end up with no family. Everything's taken away from them. They have to get their own lawyer. So we're going to give them back their dignity and their strength. The local police know the criminals that we're talking about. They know their first name, their middle name, and their last name.
Donald Trump is going places no other candidate.
And we're going to have to let them do that. And they will bring them in. We have no choice. And these are, in many cases, and this is from all over the world, not just South America, which is big enough, but they're coming in from the Congo. They're coming in from all parts of Africa. They're coming in from all parts of Asia. And it's an invasion into our country, and no country can handle this. So we're going to have them taken out. Local police, we're going to work very closely with the local police, and it's been done before. We had Dwight Eisenhower, believe it or not, did the biggest deportation. He pretty much stopped it. Strange that we mentioned Eisenhower, because you don't think of him that way, but he did a massive deportation where people were pouring in.
The next big question that we get a lot is, there's two components to this. The first is, many of the libertarians here, we want to see firings. We want to see in the bureaucracy corrupt individuals, the bloat. On top of that, without getting into the specifics for obvious reasons, the things that they're doing to you with the court system is not just to you. It is to me. It is to everyone who voted for you in 2020.
It's true.
Are we going to get some good personnel in as Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and in the CIA?
Right.
And see some prosecutions?
So we had some great people, because our trade numbers were fantastic. The jobs we did on trade, the jobs we did, frankly, in the military underneath the terrible television generals who were absolutely terrible, but we have incredible people. We defeated ISIS, and we had no new wars because they were concerned with us. I had no wars at all. I finished off a war that we were in for 20 years, but we had no wars. And we have to get the right people. It's all about the people. So when I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times in my life. All of a sudden, I'm president. And I really knew nobody. I relied on people. Some were good, some were rhinos, some gave us some bad advice. And generally speaking, we had very good people. But we had some that we have to do better. Attorney General, we have to get a great Attorney General. And I'd work with the Libertarian Party on that. I think it's very good because, I view the Libertarian Party as almost a party of common sense, largely of common sense. And I say that about the Republican Party, too. We're a party of common sense. You want borders, but you want fairness. You want a lot of things that a lot of other people don't talk about. So we will work with a lot of people to get the right people in. The difference is I now know sort of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not having to be relying on people that I didn't know very well and listen to their recommendations. And I think we're going to have phenomenal people. I know the people. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the weak ones, the strong ones. I think we're going to have great people.
We're friends with Kash Patel. He was on the show just before you, and that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Kash is fantastic.
Yeah,
he's an example of a good one.
Yep.
We have some great people, but Kash was a great example. Devin Nunes, as you know, he's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So many great people.
So when it came to foreign policy, I'll be honest, I didn't vote for you in 2016. I was jaded. Obama let me down. I'm from Chicago. I thought 2016 was silly. And then in 2020, with the timeline for getting out of Afghanistan,
right?
When you tried to get our troops out of Syria, my question is, why are we in Syria? Who even knew?
Yeah.
And they lied to you, and they lied to us about the number of troops in there. And so maybe it's a bit blunt for me to say I want to see people prosecuted for the lies of the American people. But in terms of foreign policy, perhaps it's a little bit of a biased interview. But
in the chat, if you want to see people prosecuted, leave a comment in the chat. I'm a firm believer that the people that lied to Trump committed treason. Larry, what do you think about that?
I do too. People need to be held accountable.
We're held
100%.
accountable. Yeah. They lied to a president. Milley lied to the president of the United States.
I think you're the greatest president of my lifetime.
I appreciate it.
And ending the wars that we should not have been involved in. Now the fear is World War III.
Yeah.
What are you looking at when you enter your next term to stopping the escalation?
Well, first of all, I'm the only one that is going to stop World War III, because this man can't put two sentences together. He doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know where he is. And amazingly, it seems like he's going to be running. You know, it's a lot of people say, do you think he'll make it to the starting gate? Well, we'll see what happens. But if you look at Viktor Orban, because we don't want to see wars. I don't want to see wars. I was in no wars other than we finished a war with ISIS and we completed it 100% complete. But I don't want to see wars. I think it's so horrible, so unnecessary, so costly in terms of lives and money in that order, and destroying these countries. You know, you're destroying culture. When you look at Ukraine, that would have never happened if I were president. You look at the October 7th attack on Israel, it would have never happened.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
That's right.
What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that. You can talk in such a way where they respect you and they listen to you. Viktor Orban of Hungary, you know, the leader, they call him a strong man. Who cares if he's a strong man or not a strong man? He's a very powerful guy. He said the problem the world has is that Donald Trump is no longer president. When he was president, China didn't play around. Russia didn't play around. Nobody played around. And we had no problems. Here. Today, the whole world is on fire.
I heard that funny, there's a conversation from a phone call where you said that there was they maybe thought there was a 5% chance you'd nuke them. And so it kept them in line. It's kind of scary to think about, but you take a look at the weakness we have now.
It's the old adage, walk softly, carry a big stick. What do you think, Larry? I mean, yep. I firmly believe that. We've got a lot of firepower. Don't make me use it.
I mean, one tweet from Trump stopped a lot of stuff from happening.
Oh, they hate it. Democrats hated that.
Any direct economic policy that is on your list for 2025?
Direct economic, but also direct in terms of warfare. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars all around the world. But when you look at Ukraine, we're giving all of this money. Europe, which is much more affected by that war than us, is spending just a tiny fraction of what we're spending. And you say, does anybody at least get involved in this? But more importantly, I will end that war. I'll get it ended. Putin respects me. Zelensky respects me. I know all the players, and I want to get that war ended. It's a horrible war. It's a terrible, there's no good war, but that's a horrible war. And to think it would have never started. It would have never started. If the election turned out like it should have turned out, that war would have never started. I mean, and you know, the number of lives we're talking about is far greater than the numbers that you hear. When they blow up a town, or when they blow up these buildings, these massive buildings, surprisingly, I mean, these are big. That was my business. These are big, powerful buildings. And they come tumbling down to the ground and they say nobody was injured. A lot of people were killed. Yeah. And the numbers are a lot different than you think. When you will see that happening. When those numbers really get announced, you're going to see it's much worse than people think.
Here at the Libertarian Party National Convention, they had one of their, I believe one of their presidential nominees said he wants to see Fauci, the heads of Moderna, Pfizer, Biden, and you locked up for what happened during COVID. I don't agree with them, but there is a big sentiment. Elon Musk tweeted, prosecute Fauci. Fauci lied to Congress about the gain of function research that was going on. And now we have testimony.
Well, I'm the one that stopped the funding, and this was funding from before me. I'm the one that stopped the.
How many of you in the chat agree with that? I mean, Larry, 100%. What's your take on that? When did you retire? You retired before
2020.
All this. 2020. Oh, so you retired right in the middle of this.
Yeah. So work closed down in March and I retired in September. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He needs to be prosecuted. You know, you're going to hold people in contempt of Congress. You're going to try and freaking tell everybody you can't perjure in front of Congress and anything like that. Here's a guy that's been on TV and is freaking arrogant about it. You know, puts his nose up saying, you know, he has to have something on some people to not be prosecuted for anything. I mean, Rand Paul talks about him almost daily. It's just like, come on, if Rand Paul can't do anything, you know, what can Congress do, or what can the Senate do?
I started a poll in the chat. You can vote on that. Should Fauci be prosecuted? I personally think let's bring back the Nuremberg trials. That's me. This is fascinating. Donald Trump is going places no other candidate's been. No other candidate's done a YouTube interview. This is amazing.
The funding.
Can't even get Biden live on
Fauci wasn't a big player in my administration like he was after I left. I mean, Biden made him the king of everything. And if you take a look at that, Fauci was not the big player with me that he was. And in fact, I did things that he didn't want to do. He wanted to keep it open to China. I said, you got to close it to China because it was all coming out of China. It was coming out of Wuhan, which I said right at the beginning. But the other thing is, and what people don't realize, I believe in federalism. I gave the power to governors. Some governors did a great job. In all cases, they were Republicans. And some, like in South Carolina, Henry McMaster, kept everything open. Others didn't. The Democrats did a bad job, very bad job. But basically, I gave that power over the states. I gave it to the governor. I gave it back to the states. And I think it's something which, when people realize that, it's something that they respect.
Will there be accountability for the lying to Congress when you get to appoint your new AG, deputy AG?
Yeah, and we'll take a look at statute of limitations because, the statute of limitations are quite long. And we're going to be looking at that very seriously. Yeah.
I got one big question for you. Part of my family comes from Korea.
Good.
And you did what I think is one of the most tremendous things. You crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea with no security as a sign of goodwill and peace with the hostile nation. And I've had people tell me it never happened. So I think people need to know about it. I'm wondering if you can just tell me how did that happen? How did it come to be?
And it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
And when I met with, with the handoff, you sort of meet with the previous president for a period of time. The meeting lasted for quite a while. With President Obama, you sit in the Oval Office and you talk, and the press is outside, and you talk for a little while. He said the single greatest threat we have is North Korea. And I said, have you called them? Have you tried to talk to them? Little things like that. And didn't matter what the answer was. He felt that was the single biggest threat in the world was North Korea. And as you know, there was certain hostility when I first started, and all of a sudden it boiled down to something that was very beautiful, the way it happened. And I got along with him very well. And I will say that if Hillary won that race, you would have had a nuclear war and millions of people would have been killed. And you weren't even close to that. It never happened. It was never going to happen. I got along great with him.
I don't doubt that.
And it just never was going to happen.
Were you at all scared in any way when you crossed into an enemy country?
Well, I wouldn't say that Secret Service was thrilled. And in those blue buildings, there were lots of people in those buildings that I looked at. The two blue buildings on each side with the windows. And I looked in those windows, and there were a lot of things happening in those. Someday I'll tell you about it. But no, I felt very safe. I felt my relationship with him, as you know, was very hostile. Little Rocket Man and all that. But then all of a sudden it morphed. He respected me. I respected him. And we ended up, once we got to know each other, we ended up very good. A very smart guy, very strong guy. He's the absolute leader of that country. For those that think he's not, they're wrong. And I got to know him very well. I even did a press conference. He never did a press conference before. I said, would you like to do a press conference? And we did a press conference, if you remember. And then he said, that's the end of the press conference. And boom, everybody was pretty radically thrown out. But it was a press conference, the only press conference he's ever done. I got along with him great. We had no nuclear war. You would have had a nuclear war guaranteed. And you won't if we have the right president, if we have somebody that knows what he's doing, you're not going to have World War III. If, on the other hand, we don't, you're going to end up in World War III, and it's going to be a war like no other because of the power of weaponry.
Many have actually been saying we're already in it. The Hill published a piece saying we are in World War III and Biden is losing it. And so my hope is...
I want to talk about that. I mean, with all the different conflicts around the world, they're probably not far off, right? Larry, what do you think about that? I mean,
I think we're already in it. All the conflicts, like you said, and all of the attacks from China and Iran and everything into our superstructure, or what do you call it?
Infrastructure.
The cyber attacks that are going on daily, from Russia, China, everywhere else. What was that saying? It's all going to start with ones and zeros, and they're coming after us already. All they have to do is cripple us that way, and here we go. So I think we're on the cusp of it. So
in the chat, I put a poll in the chat. Should Fauci be prosecuted? 175 votes. Y'all vote on that. 2% of you say no. If you don't think he should be prosecuted, leave a comment in the chat. I want to know why he should not be prosecuted.
Yes, please.
I would convince me. Convince me.
I don't see any logical path for a Biden presidency to fix the economy, to fix anything.
He can't fix it. He can't fix himself.
Yeah.
Can't fix anything.
He had a new one the
Can't
other day.
make a
Pack-a-lack-a-lack. I don't know if you saw that. He was muttering on TV, something like that. Now, crypto.
By the way, I just so you know, I know all the leaders. They're at the top of their game. They're sharp. They're tough. They're smart. They love their country, or they do whatever they have to for their country at a minimum. And when they see this guy come in, I think they can't believe it. I know they can't believe it. It's not the right person.
So we'll do a couple quick ones. We don't have much time. You announced you're taking cryptocurrency.
What we're doing is we're backing it as a form of, as a field, and we have to, because otherwise somebody else is going to be doing it from another country. And as you know, they're already trying, and it's going to happen, and we're going to help it happen. And it's something that can be very good. I think it can be very good.
No central bank digital currencies.
No digital, no central bank.
And one more big one. Will you pardon Julian Assange?
Well, I'm going to talk about that today, and we're going to give it very serious consideration. And we're going to have a couple of other things to say in the speech that I think you're going to love.
I've heard some rumors.
And you've gotten so much out of me.
This
I
was
should leave
prior
a
to the
little bit
speech.
for the speech, don't you think?
Okay.
Mr. President, it is an honor and a privilege. I really do appreciate you sitting
and
down
you're
with
very
me.
Wow, let's get out of here. Wow, that's let me ask this for anybody in the chat first. Larry, you get the first chance to answer this question. Could our current sitting commander-in-chief go and do a one-on-one interview with someone that is not throwing softball questions or given him the questions prior? What is your take on that?
No, he still needs notes just to talk to people that are in the media. He still needs like cue cards to know who they are. And when was the last time you actually saw him talk to the press besides these tiny little freaking rallies that he's doing? He doesn't give any press conferences. I think he's given the least amount of press conferences any president has ever done through the modern era with TV.
It's weird, isn't it? It's really weird.
Everything is super friendly to this guy.
And in the chat, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or cuss words in the chat about what's going on with this, let me share it. I want to hear from you guys. Okay. Somebody says hell to the no. I put up another poll just to see, is the economy better under Biden? 97% of people say no. To the 3% of you that say it is, you're probably the same 2% that said don't prosecute Fauci. Thank you for coming and watching. I hope your mom brings you some brownies down in the basement and changes your undergarments because you're full of poop. And
or they're millionaires and don't.
Oh my God. Perfect timing. Teddy. Oh my God. Teddy. $20 super chat. This is for the trolls. It's so amazing. Teddy, thank you so much. I got a couple of clips here from the, I don't know how to make this like not. Here we go.
Hypothetically, I was appointed by the fellow I ran against when I was 29 years old to the Naval Academy. I was one of 10. I wanted to play football. And the day I was supposed to go down for the interview, a classmate of mine who was also one of the 10 appointed to be chosen from, named Steve Dunning, came to pick me up. And I had found out 2 days earlier they had a quarterback named Roger Staubach and a halfback named Joe Bellino. I said, oh, I'm not going there. I went to Delaware.
How wrong is it to talk about the Naval Academy at the West Point graduation? I've been dying to ask you that question.
I don't know why he would. It's supposed to be about West Point, and who cares about the Naval Academy? They're rivals for a reason.
Yeah.
The only time they want to hear anything about the Navy is go Army beat Navy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think it's amazing. I think it's amazing Biden would put his foot in his mouth like that.
I'm surprised there weren't almost new second lieutenants falling asleep during that. Oh my God. I was nodding off just listening to that.
Somebody
I wanted to play football.
Guyman calls him the usurper. Usurper Biden is a liar. I've got a clip here that I think is very telling, and I want to show this.
I think you stand with Trump.
I'm not stupid.
I could tell the minute I saw you, your eyes lit up when you saw the Trump flags.
Stupid.
As I told her, you know why you stand with Trump? Because beautiful people stand with Trump.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Huh?
How's your drink?
It's really good. It's a mocktail.
This is at the Bronx rally.
So what was your answer? Why do you stand with Trump?
I stand with Trump because he's basically representing us, and everything that they're doing to him is what they can do to us. Yeah. And the system is broken, and you know, he's fighting for us, you know. So I like his policies. I like how he says it like it is, and you know, and Biden gotta go. I'm sick of him.
And what would you say to a black person that says that you're not black because you're voting for Trump?
Well, then I guess I identify as a white man. I don't know. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm a mother. I care about the future of my child, and I care about policies over, you know, rhetoric.
Well said.
Wow.
If he doesn't win in a landslide, it's rigged.
This is, when I see something like that, it gives me hope for America. A black woman at a rally in the Bronx, after she's been called a clown by the New York governor, she's been called a deplorable by Hillary Clinton. She goes there and they say, why are you voting for Trump? And she says, policy and my children. I'm like,
it's a win.
I'm like, this is a win. This is a win. I took down the dive helmet. I put up my Captain America. In honor of Memorial Day, I put up the Captain America.
Nice. And your white cap.
And my Dixie cup, baby. Yeah, absolutely. I got out the bike yesterday, and of course I fired up some Steppenwolf, and I wore my Captain America helmet. Wore my cap.
Nice.
Larry, you've got kids.
I do.
And you got 5 kids. You probably got friends and family with other kids. What are families saying with kids about the current commander in chief? What are they saying? What are you hearing? What's the word on the street?
Well, my daughters really, I mean, hate Biden. I mean, if they were allowed to say the F-bomb at home, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, you know, F Joe Biden, like out loud. That's how much they dislike him.
That's his 2-year-old. That's his 2-year-old.
Yeah, my kids actually have started paying attention to what's going on at young ages. You know, they're between the ages of 9 and 14 at home. So they've actually started paying attention, and they'll actually ask questions about what's going on. So they're waking up too to see what is changing in the world, especially when we sit at home and we'll talk about it every once in a while. We'll have the news on and they'll be like, what does that mean? And you just talk about it. But yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, kids that young are starting to wake up to politics. I mean, I didn't start listening to politics until I joined the military. You know,
Let me ask you this.
Cares.
Let me ask you this, and this question, you get to answer it first, and then I want some answers in the chat. Who has done more to wake people up to politics? Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Because I would almost, my opinion, Joe Biden has done more to make people aware by his failures than Donald Trump did with his successes. And I believe not many people were aware of Donald Trump's successes until we've seen, experienced, and paid for Biden's failures. We both know what happened in Afghanistan. That made me sick to my stomach. I had buddies calling me when they did that withdrawal.
I have a buddy who has a Purple Heart from that actual incident when it blew up at the gate. One of my buddies was right there.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Wow.
So I think it's a combination of Joe Biden, the media, and Elon Musk that have opened up everybody's eyes after he bought Twitter and he did the Twitter files and showed everybody how much the government was involved with everything. And it opened up everybody's eyes for, you know, because Twitter's like one of the #1 sources of news now. Twitter, YouTube, and, you know, mainstream media. But Joe Biden's failures, the way Twitter got opened up, And the way people are actually on YouTube and all that, and they actually see Facebook and they see all the censoring of everything that's going on, it really opened up their eyes to the media censorship and everything else. So I think, Joe Biden, Elon Musk, and the media is all that, and the way they treat Trump all the time. I think that's what's caused everybody to open their eyes.
People are hyper aware, or things were going on, but they didn't feel the need to pay attention. And I think the other thing Trump did, he's made politics cool again. He's made politics cool. Like when you see rappers, you got a Afro man making a song about Hunter Biden. What? I mean, that's cool. You got Donald Trump going to the Bronx. He's making it cool. And I'd love to know what people in the chat say. One question there. Boring Banana says, how long did it take you to grow that beard? I think it was like 3 days, right? 3 days for that.
I wish it was only 3 days. So it took me 2 years. I grew it from 21 to 23, and ever since then I've just maintained it. Every 2 to 3 weeks I'll get it trimmed. Like this Thursday I need a haircut. I'm probably going to get about an inch trimmed off of it. It grows more than the top of my hair. Let's put it that way.
Oh, really?
It does. Right now I haven't had a haircut in like almost a month. And if I took my hat off, you'd be like, oh my God, look at that mill pattern baldness. It's weird the way my hair grows on the top of my head. It's not very great.
I've got
I love
hair
this.
up top. I don't care. I keep my hair short anyway. So
me too. I get a number 1 on top when I go through. I'm not going to shave my head bald yet because I still have hair, although it looks weird. So
I saw a great comment right here. Let's see. Michael Lynn, Trump is a tough guy, but not the toughest. Michael Lynn, who's the toughest? Who's the toughest? I would love to know what you want there.
David
Lighthouse Cat says, my son, I know David pretty well. My son was in Afghanistan a year before the Biden disaster. Wow. Let's see here. I think it's a contrast between Trump's success, Biden's failures. Most people don't know this. In 2025, in February of 2025, the Trump tax cuts expire, and your taxes will go up 25% in February of 2025.
Elections have consequences.
Elections have consequences. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody says Donald Trump shook the tree. I love that. Randy Stevens, VB, you're so right. Some are starting to see what we saw a long time ago. I feel like I've been a conspiracy theorist, and now I'm like, I told you so. I told you so.
Conspiracy truthist.
Yep, exactly. Steel Mill. My friend's son was 100 yards away from the explosion you were talking about, Larry. Let's see here. Joe DeMitt, the blood of those troops is on Joe Obama's hands. I agree with that. Colette Dunn, Trump was on Timcast in real life tonight. Colette, are you joking?
She just got on. It's okay.
It's okay. Colette, we showed it. Catch up on the live stream. You'll see it. We broke it all down. Colette, you're the best. I don't care what your liberal neighbors say about you. Here we go. $5 to sit down with Jesus and to call out Donald Trump, or leaving LGBT in the military. I'm a vet. What? Hold on. Let's break this comment down.
$5 to sit down.
$5 to sit down with Jesus and to call out Donald Trump, or leaving the alphabet community in the military. I'm a vet. He had to be a crypto operator, because that is some code right there. That is some QAnon code. That is
Commas matter. And maybe it's not Jesus. Maybe it's Jesus. Maybe they want to talk with the Mexicans.
The cartels. Maybe it's the cartels.
Maybe.
Richard Vaughn, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you got your comment up there just because it confused the shit out of me. Let's see here. Guyman says he's been trying to grow a beard for the past 46 years. No avail.
Oh my goodness. Is it just the sides, or is it the length?
Because I can grow a good goatee, but that's it.
I tell you what, the secret to a good beard, it's going to sound weird. It's not your cheeks. It's not your mustache. It's underneath your neck. That's where you get all, that's where you get all the length, is let your neck grow.
Okay. My problem is my great-grandfather married a Comanche Indian. And I have enough American Indian in me that I can get just enough to look like I can get like a couple of really good long hairs on the chin. That's about it. That's about it. I've got a good clip here. The earlier video I came out with today, I played a snippet of this clip, and I wanted to play the whole clip because I've got a veteran on here. I got a lot of veterans in there. Says, looks like Nostradamus. That's cool. I love it. Let's see here. Okay, let's play this clip right here.
I've got a question I want all of you to answer, if you would, please. We'll start with you, Mr. Cisneros. Does our strength in our military lie in our diversity or our commonality?
First, Congressman, let me tell you.
Can you just answer the question? Sorry, I don't have much time. Does it lie in our diversity or commonality?
Let me say that.
Does it lie in our diversity or commonality?
Our armed services is ready to defend this nation.
Sir.
They are ready to fight.
Mr. Cisneros, does our strength of a military lie in our commonality or diversity?
I believe diversity does add
Thank you. Diversity or commonality?
Diversity.
Mr. Parker.
Congressman, I believe both.
A future Chinese soldier holding a gun, or a Russian or an Iranian with their target trained on an American, do they care what color he or she is? It's a yes or no question.
I don't know what the Chinese soldier thinks, but I do know that the people.
Would you imagine
that the Chinese government has discriminated against people because of their race, their ethnicity, and because of their religion, and that's not.
Do you think a Russian soldier is more apt to kill someone on the battle lines that they have a racial bias against? Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you is, because of diversity, we want to ensure that people are able to serve in our military with respect and dignity.
Ms. Schaefer, does the enemy care who's pointing a gun or a missile at the enemy what gender he or she is?
Again, I can't speak to the Chinese soldiers.
Does the enemy care what pronoun we are using when he or she is pointing a weapon at us, ready to kill us?
I cannot speak to the mindset and the hypothetical.
Well, what would you
Where do they get these people?
Does it even factor in?
You're some of the bravest and most inspiring people I've ever known. You set an example for the nation and, quite frankly, for the world.
This is when they see weakness, they're going to push and push and push until you smash them in the mouth.
There we go. Go Navy. They had to show the Navy guy dressed in drag. They had to do it. I knew they would. They had to show it. Larry, what you got else? What you got anything else? We went 2 hours. I don't know if I could do any more.
I'm good. I am good. I appreciate the big voice on your channel.
Dude, if y'all are watching me, watch Larry's channel. Check it out. Coffee and Camouflage. Go follow his channel. Hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up button on this channel. Go follow Larry. If you're a veteran that wants to, Larry does interviews with veterans, just real conversations with veterans. If you're, or Lawrence, sorry, I've been calling you Larry.
You're good.
You're in the UK.
You're the only person that does, and I don't mind.
Oh, okay. In my phone, it said your number is Larry BM2 Jenkins is what's in. Yeah. So if you're in the chat and you want to talk to Larry, if you're a veteran, you want to go talk to another vet and just, share your experiences, your whatever, give him a follow. I'm sure he's got a link to his email over there. And I want to say thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight. It's Memorial Day, the end of Memorial Day weekend. I want to say thank you to everybody tuned in. We got 1.5 thousand thumbs ups. Wow. Holy cow. That's a lot. That's a lot of thumbs ups. I love it.
Time.
It is. And I want to say thank you to everybody that donated through the super chats. Here we go. Vicky with the last super chat of the night. Last super chat of the night. If you got one more you want to get in before we close it down, do it now. I've warned all my clients. Vicky does taxes and she drops red pills on people that vote for Biden. I have warned all my clients about the end of those tax cuts. I showed them what they might be paying if Dark Brandon won. Trump tax cuts expire in February of 2025. Joe Biden's already said he's not going to extend them. So technically, Joe Biden is not raising taxes on you. He's just not continuing with the 25% tax cut, right? Everybody likes those child tax credits. You like that? That shit's going away if Biden's reelected. That's going away. Child tax credits.
Elections matter.
Elections have consequences, just like New York City. Everybody that lives in New York City complains and shit. And I'm like, hey, you're getting what you voted for. Eric Adams, you're getting what you voted for. Chicago, Brandon Johnson, getting what you voted for. California, you get what you voted for, right? If you're going to be dumb, be strong, lift weights, work out, get flexible, because life is tough. And I ordered a new sign for my front yard. I might offend some people tonight, but I don't care. It's my channel. It's my opinion. I'm an expert. Ordered a new sign for the front of my house. It's, everybody's got those signs up that says, water's wet, women are humans, nobody's illegal, all that, right? Well, I just ordered a sign. It says, in this house, we say gay and retarded. That's going in the front of my house. Because I'm a firm believer, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. And I think that's part of the reason with America. Larry, when you first joined the military, people could argue. Like
they could.
Like society's decline, we're supposed to be much more intelligent, but we're not allowed to argue with each other, are we? It's
crazy.
Weird.
One of my favorite quotes about being offended is inevitable. Living offended is a choice.
So true. So true. So true. Uh-oh, here we go. I got a super chat rolling in. Let's see what this one is. The ones right at the end of the show are always good. If you've got somebody you want to give a shout out to, maybe a veteran that's passed on, we've been doing that all night. Thomas Garrison, they're talking about your beard. Place a ZZ Top and go for a ride. What's your favorite ZZ Top song? Mine's LaGrange.
Oh, I like LaGrange too, but Legs is my favorite. Pearl Necklace is a great one too.
Yep.
But yeah.
And for all of you Rainbow Coalition people, they did sing the song, The Tube Snake Boogie. That's another song by them too. Let's see. Teddy B, don't forget to smash that like button. Teddy, it's a big shout out to your father as well that served. Clark Tribe, go to Midas Gold for all your precious metals. Absolutely, right down there. Right down there. Midas Gold, text Vet Biker 232425. Get some of these. Silver Eagles. Oh, hold up. I'll show you. Hold up. Let's see.
Let's do that right now.
We might as well. I know there's a bunch of people in the chat that have already gotten these.
3.
Aha. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Look at this. There you go. There's some Silver Eagles for you right there.
What?
Yeah. Look at that. Silver sounds so good, too. I love the sound of silver. Love it. Hey, I got one of these. I don't know if you know anybody that wants to play the challenge coin game.
I have a George W. Bush.
This is a Donald W. Trump.
Awesome.
Or Donald J. Donald J. Why did I say W? You confused me with the George W. You confused me with the W.
I was his honors bosun mate when he came on board.
No kidding.
I piped him on. And I got a coin from him.
Have you got your bosun's whistle still?
It's upstairs in my shadow box.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, Larry, I'm going to shut it down tonight, dude. I got nothing else to say, man. How can everybody find your channel? How can they find you? Shameless plug.
Coffee and Camouflage. I only have 3 videos, so go look for me.
How's your channel looking right now? How many subscribers and views and all that kind of stuff are you?
Let's see. Let me go to YouTube Studio. Refresh. I have 104 subscribers from. I started with 47 tonight, so thank you to everybody that's come on and actually subscribed to it. And it doesn't
dude.
Yeah, it doesn't update the views, but every 12 hours it looks like. But one of my facts about veterans in the United States, I had 110 views, and right now I have 478. So thanks, guys, for watching that video.
Good for you, dude.
I appreciate all of you. I posted one about Memorial Day. It's only 3 minutes long, so if you guys want to watch something about Memorial Day, I actually worked on my editing skills and using B-roll on that one. So trying to get better each video, like Ben says, get 1% better each time.
1% better. That's all you got to do.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to try and do at least 1 or 2 videos a week. And once I get everybody started with, I think Tuesday, which is tomorrow, holy crap. Tomorrow is when I actually start with the interviews with people. So hopefully one of my dudes up in Rhode Island will get on there with me as a Black Hawk pilot. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm going to have a nice conversation with him.
There's an F-16 pilot in the chat.
Yeah, there's
talk to you.
there's a B-52 crew chief that reached out to me as well who wants to talk. So that's going to be.
Is that a bomber too? Is that a bomber?
It was B-52 bomber back in the Cold War. So I was like, holy crap! I don't know him, but I'm willing to talk to him because
you're gonna know
veterans
him.
want to talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Big shout out, Tom and Rhonda. Where have y'all been? I missed you. Tom and Rhonda, hadn't seen you forever. They've got a great little picture of that pup they've got there in their lap. Want to say big shout out to Tom and Rhonda. I need to share one thing. I want to share this with everybody in the audience. There's a lady that just got a service dog. And hold up, let me find her email. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Gummit. I need to see it. It's got the attachment for it. Hold up. Let me see. She sent me some photos of a service dog that she just got, a pup. And oh yeah, Mary Petty. Mary Petty just got her a service dog. Mary is a long time subscriber to the channel. She's a member on the channel. We're gonna help her out. She just got her a service dog. And how do I do this? Oh, wait, let me see. How do I do this? Oh, crap. Open engine, new tab. There we go. We're going to bring up a picture of her service dog right there. Look at that. Look at that.
Those ears.
Look at that. She got her a nice little service dog. The name of her service dog is, hold up, let me see. She said Smash K9 helped her. I put her in touch with it. She said she got a call from him Thursday. Never heard of him, so it was a complete cold call. Big shout out. He said he got my name from, I'm not going to say, would be no charge for the dog or the training, and that all she would have to pay for are any vet bills and food. And I'm going to help her out with both of those. She's 12 weeks old, German Shepherd. Her name is Janie. She named her after her best friend and battle buddy of over 30 years who passed away in 2019.
Wow.
Before she died, I told her that if I ever got a service dog, she was going to name her after her best friend. How cool is that?
I just want to play with those ears.
Those ears, man, those ears look like they would get you in some trouble too. I mean, that is the cutest dog, and that is her new best friend. And Mary has had some problems with Mary's had some problems like wanting to get out and experience life. Okay. And she had sent me an email months ago that she's from the YouTube page. She's 100% disabled veteran. And she was, at a point in her life where being at home by herself, not having the self-confidence to get out, a service dog was the answer. And she said, I don't live in Arkansas. I'm in Southern Maryland. So I don't know if you could help with my situation, but if you could help, I'd be forever grateful. She sent me a copy of her DD-214 so I could verify everything. And then I made a couple of calls. Bob's your uncle. Mary has a new best friend, friend named Janie. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but I feel selfish. We helped a vet get a service dog.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to help her out with some vet bills and pet accessories that she needs for a new pup. If there's anybody in the live stream and you want to donate to a good cause, that's what we do with all the super chats, members, all that stuff. I'm closing it down. Larry, I'm going to hit in stream. Don't go nowhere. To everybody else out there, Andrew Graham, I haven't seen you for months, brother from another mother. I love you, Andrew. He's from the land down
super
under.
Chat.
He's down in Australia. He's down in Australia. 10 mil. Help with the dog. Thanks a lot, guys. Leave a comment down below. You guys are the best. I do not care what your liberal neighbors say about you. I don't care. You guys take care. Veteran Bikers out, and so is Coffee
Lawrence.
And Camouflage.
Coffee and Camouflage. Thanks for everything, everybody.
Don't go nowhere.